wonderful, just a wonderful, it's not even a good word, beautiful, outstanding, whatever it is, July 7th. In Woburn, Massachusetts, the temperature must be about 80, 85. The wind is pretty windy though. We got help here holding everything down because the wind's gonna blow them away. But anyway, we don't care about that. All we care about is getting on time, getting this show on time. All right. I hope everybody in the city of Woburn had a wonderful 4th of July because I did. And I went down to Essex, Massachusetts. My wife was there, and the grandchildren were there, and my daughters were there, and it was just a full house. And we had a great time doing a little kayaking, played a little golf. Come home yesterday afternoon with all the rest of the people that have to go to work. The traffic was unbelievable. But today turned out to be a great day. A great day. So here we are. So let's get right to the name of the game. Who is that? You want? Who is that? Get him over here. We're such a popular program that when we get into traffic, people want to stop and say hello and see what's going on. Maybe they think there's an accident here or something. The only person I haven't seen come by yet is Mike Balren. Is he due by come by?
I saw him at the bank today.
Oh, you saw him at the bank?
Yeah.
Oh, he'll be by then.
He's wearing shorts, so he's on vacation.
Oh, well, he probably have to go home and change. But get back to the program. We're still experimenting a little bit on our new equipment. And so we're going to be, maybe I'm going to take my time in the beginning. I rushed myself a little bit last week. So this week we'll just cruise right along, and then we'll do the whole program in the last 5 minutes. So that's what we'll do. So let's start off and see what Mrs. Ahern has allowed us to talk about today, plus. Okay, application signs for signs at the WRA, that count stands now at 29 people have applied for help putting up a sign in Woburn Center. I'm not really sure how many stores, businesses are in Woburn Center, but 29 has to be a good representative group. Plus some have already had their signs done. So they're all in a situation where some are having their signs laid out, some are talking about it, but this is a very successful program being run by the Woburn Redevelopment Authority. They took it over. We've had sign boards and sign commissions and sign everything else, and nothing ever worked in the past. So if they get 29 people to had applications, and so far 10 are getting checks, I guess. So it sounds like a successful program. I hope they have a great summer, and by the next year, come around Christmas time, everybody will be downtown saying, "This the place looks great." On Garfield Avenue is a nuisance. Garfield Avenue is down in Ward 2. I'm sure Mr. Gately's right on top of this one because there's a nuisance. And apparently they have hearings before the city council, but that's been put off to December. The situation is a little odd, but not craziness odd. I think the person who owned the house passed away, and there's a lot of heirs to the property, so therefore nobody can decide who owns it and who doesn't own it. So by the time you get that straightened out, maybe the city will have to take it for back taxes. Everybody wants to inherit it, but nobody wants to pay the taxes. So that'll just keep dragged on till December. It's unfortunate those things happen because the things that happen in the neighborhood, you know, it affects all the neighbors, but apparently this has been going on for some time. So let's see if we can't get it resolved. I'm sure the city council wants it resolved without too much of a pain in the butt, but I think it's very difficult when something like that happens and nobody really is the rightful owner, and nobody wants to make a hit for the taxes, which is a significant amount of money, I think. So therefore, we'll have to wait. But I'm sure it'll all work out. Dickie will take care of it. And by the way, I heard over the weekend, actually this morning, that his mother passed away, so we're really sorry to hear that. And I'm sure that'll be in the Times or in the Globe, so people will be able to pay their respects in the next few days. All right. 75,000 square foot facility at the new Hurld, and a little bit of talk about the Wyman. Now, Patrick Blaze, he writes for the Times. He wrote a little article in the Times relative to the Wyman School and the Hurld School. Now, he didn't get into where the new school was going. He just got into why the two locations where the schools are located now are not very, what would we say, conducive to putting a school there. I don't know why they didn't just get into the whole deal with the Seed Loft lot or the former Mormon church lot, and besides that, we can talk about where the farmers market is, but he didn't get into that. All he got into was where the Wyman School is now. Now, we're not going to have any school where the Wyman School is now, because those buildings, some of them will probably be torn down, and I'm sure the old building just right out in front, right on Main Street, will probably be used for elderly housing, veterans housing, or something relative to the city. Because in other cities and towns, that's what they do with them. It's too bad. We tore down a lot of good old buildings, but we're going to, lo and behold, save. I think the Wyman School will be saved, and will be fixed up, and the insides will be all done. There'll be a bunch of people living there. So that's Wyman School. Scratch it off. So that leaves us with 3. We started with 4. That leaves us with 3. Now the Hurld lot. I think there's like 10 acres down there. And a lot of it, he gave a great description of the brooks that run through the property, east, west, up and down, north. They go in every direction, towards Sheridan Street, towards Wynn Street, towards Bedford Road. And the 4 or 5 of those acres, or maybe more than 50% of the property, I think, is wetlands. So if the school, if that lot was picked to put the school up, it has to go on the lot, on the very lot that the school is on now. So that would mean that if they tore the school down, the children going to the Hurld School would have to go to another school. And you've got 3 guesses to say where they might go. But we'll wait and see what they say about that before we get into a big argument about how much we're going to spend to get another school in shape to take the kids from the Hurld School. So the Hurld School is like not off the charts, but it's pretty close. I'd say it was 80% close to not being the kind of lot that they want to build a school in. Be interesting to see what they thought they might do with that lot or that building after they move. Now, I think the lot where the Mormon church was going to be built, that's close to Burlington. It's not a very big lot. They'd have to build a higher school. There's no second exit to it. And the things that the state would like to have, it's very short on having those things. So, my friend Vince Grillo, he must be a little bit nervous now, because these things are starting to get cornered down on him. And we've had plenty of conversation about the lot that the farmers market is on. But I don't know whether they could keep the farmers market there, build a school in the back, and you make a road through there. There's another way to get out there onto Lowell Street. So this is a relatively complicated situation. I'm sure if you've had an opportunity to watch this program over the past few months, you'd recognize Mr. Grillo. He's been on here 3 or 4 times, and his basic complaint is that he doesn't think that the school should go there because of a few factors, a lot of factors that say You know, the Wyman, nobody in the neighborhood wants to have their whole situation disrupted. Now, those people who belong to the Wyman Association, or Wyman School Association, whatever they call it, excuse me, whatever they call it, are afraid that if the school is put there, it's going to exacerbate the flooding of the homes around there. Now, we know there's a big flooding problem. They could be right, they could be wrong, but we're never going to know until something happens, until somebody, the state steps in and gets involved with the drainage and on that whole watershed area, or until the city of Woburn decides to look into it in a big picture. Costs a lot of money, so I doubt that's going to happen. We're trying to get on the other side of the street down by where Brian Melanson is building houses now. They built the road way up high. The houses are going to be high so that they don't get flooded. Now, whether that big water mitigation situation they put around the circumference of the lot, whether that takes care of some of the water that might be produced there, we'll only be able to tell when those things happen. But the people who live there don't want to wait. You know, what are they going to do? Sit anticipating a 100-year storm, and then everybody's going to have water in the cellar and say, "I told you so." Well, when they say "I told you so," what good does that do them? That doesn't do them any good. So it'll be interesting when they do finally pick that spot, because I'm betting right now 99% of the 99% of the time is going to be spent on that lot. Now, whether we could move the farmers market to a corner of that lot, or move the farmers market from Wyman Street to Bedford Road, where the Hurld School is going to be demolished and there'll just be a big vacant lot there. You know, there's other options, but I'm sure the people on Wyman Street don't care so much about the farmers market as they do about 3 or 4 inches or 5 inches or a foot of water in the cellar. But I think the article that Patrick Blaze wrote in the Times was pretty informative, but he certainly, or whoever he was reporting on, certainly didn't get into the parts that the people are interested in. So I'm sure that'll be coming next week. In the city council, they put off, St. Joseph's Church was going to have a hearing relative to how many apartments, condos, or whatever you can put inside an old church. Something to do with the zoning there. Whether they even have zoning that covers that, I don't know. But that was put off for a while. And Herb Chambers is still trying to get his cars prepped and shined up and taken care of over on Locust Street. So he hasn't left, and they haven't told him no. So there must be some communications going on to see what's going to happen there. I think, like I said before, I don't know what's going to go there, but I don't think anybody's going to go in there, tear down all those concrete buildings and build condos there, and be a pretty expensive piece of property. So it'll be interesting to watch and see what's going on there. Okay. We'll have to talk to Mike Mulrennan pretty soon. We make fun of him, he's a good kid, but we like to talk to him a lot. After a survey finds fault with city schools, Dr. Wells seeks clarification on counselor roles. Now, I'm pretty critical of the school committee, but it's not the school committee, it's not the personalities on there, it's just the committee. Because I think over a period of time, the government has taken away all the authority that school committees used to have. They used to be able to have their own budget. They did a lot of responsible decisions relative to education of children and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And the state slowly but surely has taken all of that away from the school department. So the school committee. So therefore I say we should eliminate the school committee, or the mayor should appoint the members, and that way he already tells them what to do. We already have the employees there. We have a superintendent that hires everybody. We We have Dr. Reese, who we've interviewed. He's a very nice young man, and he's responsible for the education of the children. And then we have the principals, who are responsible for hiring the teachers in their building. They're responsible for the building and the people who work there. And then it goes all the way down to the custodians. I mean, that's it. So the school committee, when you ask them, and I ask them periodically, and they say, well, we set policy, whatever that means. I'm not sure. Policy sounds like something you hear from Washington. But anyway, Dr. Wells, a friend of mine, and I guess we have a lot of counselors in the school department. And I guess some could be very well-educated psychologists, they're counselors, and some could be just help out with, I don't know what they do, but they could be counselors. So therefore, we don't know exactly one counselor from another. There's just, I guess, a list of counselors. So Dr. Wells would like a little clarification on the roles of counselors in the Woburn school system. So I'm sure that's being drawn up right now. So in the next month or so, we ought to hear something about what the counselors' roles are at the Woburn Memorial High School. Mishawum Road traffic changes to be implemented on Monday. That means today, I think. Yeah. Now, I went up there. I go there a lot. I always say that anyway. Like, I go to Demoulas. I like to go every day. I don't go shop and spend $100 on groceries. I go every day, spend five or 10 or 20 or 25. I buy whatever I need and I come home. And it seems to work out for me. So I kind of run over there. I go to the gym over there, over by there. David Livingston's gym. And you go by, now they got the traffic. They work, I said this last week, they're working on Dave and Buster's. There's a lot of big heavy equipment there, moving dirt, trucks are going in and out, all that stuff. But when you get to the light on Mishawum Road, I don't know if the old way was you could take a right and cut through. You know, you go up to the light at the bridge and then take another right and you go right down to Demoulas. But you could get killed at that light because you can go right against a red light and there's no traffic coming against you, all that kind of stuff. But now you have to go straight through the light, I guess, and down to where the Savings Bank life insurance building is, and then take a right, and then you go straight down to the mall and into Demoulas. So, I mean, I don't think it takes more than 30 seconds longer. But, there's a big but. I don't want things to change. I hate changes. I'm so used to going there and taking a right there and driving by the hotel and the old building where the Logan Express used to be. You know, you do that for 4 or 5 years, and then all of a sudden somebody says, no, you got to go the other way. I say, no, I don't. No, I'm not going to go that way. So it'll be interesting to see. Everybody will be complaining. I think Ferrello will get his phone off the hook for a couple of weeks while we're getting used to the changes. And then there's the other question is, I don't know how Dave and Buster's gets to rearrange all the traffic in the city of Woburn, a very important part of the traffic in the city of Woburn. Because a lot of people from Woburn that shop at Demoulas, because if you looked at a map and you saw where Demoulas was located, in the Woburn Mall over there, next close to Reading, say, but if you came from the west side, North Woburn, and everything, you would go that way. So now they're telling you to go this other little way. It's not a big deal, but I don't know how Dave and Buster's gets the votes to change the road or change the traffic pattern. I guess they think they're going to have so many customers that they don't care. Boss, do you want me to move over out of the sun here? Are we good? We're all right?
You look good? You look fine.
Okay. That's just part of the experiment. I'm sitting this, that's good for my tan. Looking all right.
Yeah, if you don't want the sun on you, we can move.
Yeah.
Is the sun too much?
No, it's fine. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't cut in half. We're good. All right. Representative Dwyer, 30th Middlesex District. Sales tax holiday dates are set. I'm not so sure about that because I read in the Globe Sunday They agreed on a sales tax holiday, but I didn't think they agreed on the dates. But this time here, I'm going to agree with Representative Dwyer. If he says the dates are set, the dates are set. So I'm not going to go argue with him just because the Globe says something. That doesn't make any difference. We go with the representative of the 30th Middlesex District. He knows what he's talking about. And this is all the review of what's been going on in the State House. He has his column in the Times periodically. I like to kind of go through it with a fine-tooth comb, because the quicker I can yell at him, the better off he is and I am. Because he doesn't have any competition, so we can yell at him more. So that'll be even better as the summer goes along. Now, Warren Avenue, over the holiday weekend, there was a big fire on the top of Warren Avenue across the street from the church, which was a dentist's office. Now I remember when Kenny Curran was there, married the famous Miss Johnson, and he was there for quite a while. I think he did a very good job there as a dentist. And then he must have sold it, and now I don't know who's in there, but I guess it was a pretty serious fire. I don't know if it was lightning or whatever happened there, but I went by, it looks like it was a pretty serious deal going on there. So whether that house will be rebuilt or not, I don't know. But it was a beautiful looking building, so I'm sure somebody will take a hard look at maybe replacing it, or just replacing some of the parts that burnt. For Woburn's long-term future, now think about this. There's a master plan update. The last time it was updated 1980, and not one person in the city of Woburn can tell you what it says. Not one. Maybe Scott Galvin can, because the new planner couldn't, because he has only been here for 5 minutes, and the aldermen haven't read it because it's just changed. It's what the city might look like. If it was done in 1980, that's what, 34 years ago, right? 34 years ago. So I wonder in 1980 if the city, this is what they thought the city would look like. Because we got a brand new schools, the jelly is closed, and you know, these things are all pop up, and these planners have to think about all that stuff. So I guess what they do is they hire a company, a consultant. I'm going to become a consultant, Lauren. What do you think would become a consultant? You know, we'll be consultant to each other. So anyway, they're going to hire a consultant, and then they're going to go around and they're going to talk to the police department, the fire department, and some of the neighborhoods, the aldermen, basically find out what's going on and what the potential is in each neighborhood in the next few years, or maybe in the next 34 years, like we're talking about now. So there'll be a lot of discussion, And for people like me who are nosy and get involved in all that stuff around City Hall and talk to people and see what they think, and I think it'll be very interesting. But I think for the ordinary resident of the city of Woburn should think about what's going on here in the next 30 or 40 or 50 years very seriously, because I'm sure if we looked at the 1980, the 1960, the 1930 plan that was developed by the consultants, there'd be a lot of changes they'd like to make, you know. So I don't know when that's going to start, but pretty soon. Now, I'm going out here. Well, how much time we got left? 5 minutes? Whoa. Okay, 5 minutes. We're going to start seeing a lot of the candidates for governor and other offices. It wouldn't surprise me now, but there's so many candidates for governor that I think we might be able to even see one or two of the minor candidates. I don't know whether the major candidates would come to cable TV, but I think we could make an investigation. I'll talk to the representative from the 30th Middlesex District and see what he thinks about maybe we could get one of these big-time political candidates come in and speak to us. Republican or Democrat makes no difference. I think all they want to do is have a little FaceTime so that when they go through the center and get out of the car and walk over and say hello, people will recognize them. That's the biggest problem. So that'll be good. Baker was here before he's a Republican, Charles Baker. He was a big guy. I think he was in the hospital business. And I think that he's probably the big candidate on the Republican side. And Mrs. Coakley is leading the way on the Democratic side. But she's probably got a couple of guys there that might give her a run for her money. And also, we talked to Mrs. Ryan, who's the district attorney. She came in, we interviewed her, and she's running for re-election, and there's 3 or 4 other guys running, a couple guys from Cambridge. Everybody from Cambridge runs for district attorney. They used to be close to the courthouse, so they just say, well, we'll just be right over in the courthouse. And now the courthouse is in Woburn, so maybe we'll get lawyers that are closer to the courthouse in Woburn and run for a district attorney. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see. And then, of course, Mrs. Coakley is moving from the Attorney General's office. She's going to try and be governor, so that leaves her out. So there'll be other people running for her job, but Warren Tolman and I think Mrs. Healy is running for that job. So we'll see if we can't get some information on some of these people, maybe get in and take a look at them. All right. Now it's going to be a long, hot summer, and for the next few weeks, if you got nothing to do, and this is good exercise for you, go up to North Woburn to the playground. And the Woburn Senior Babe Ruth teams and other teams play baseball there. I mean, this is pretty good baseball. You know, these kids are just out of high school or just in seniors in high school, and they up there on hot nights and play baseball. Revere, Malden, Woburn, Medford, Winchester, they're all around. So they go traveling, and a lot of those teams come up to Woburn and play. So like after supper, you arrive up there, take a beach chair, and you can sit down and have a cold drink and watch some pretty good baseball games. And see our good friend Barry Doherty, who's the coach of the Woburn Senior Babe Ruth team. I think they're at about 500 now. So they're looking at getting into a playoff berth in their division. So if you want to go up there and sit down, there's other games though. There's other games there, and they have some pretty good baseball. So anyway, we want to wish Barry Doherty and his team luck in the future. How are we doing? 2 more minutes. What will I do for 2 minutes? Stand on my head. I think what we're going to do next week is we're really going to start getting outside. I think Mr. Demers, Joe Demers, on school committee, I think he's pretty much finished up in the legislature by the end of the month, or maybe by the end of the week or so, but he'll be in. And then we're going to pretty much start on some of the aldermen that we can get to come in. So the changes that we made, technical, which I don't know anything about, a lot of wires, new microphones. We got to get a weight for the light thing. It blows over on a windy day. The boss is having to hold that there, you know. So, and then we have the van is here. So if you see the van around, you know that there's some filming happening, and we'll be good. By the time the end of the summer comes, we'll have this down to a perfect situation. So we're trying to keep it at 30 or 32 minutes. Paul, you listening? I'm sure he is. Because he already got his signatures. I don't know what he's doing today. But we're going to try for 30, 32 minutes. That way, this program that's being recorded in the van right now can be turned around, and they have all these terms, which I don't know anything about either. They turn it around, squeeze it, expand it, check it, put the commercials on, do all this stuff, and then at 5 o'clock tonight, hit the button and the program comes on. So once we get that all squared away, you don't have to listen to me describe it anymore. This is only our 2nd week now, so don't be too hard on us. All right, Lauren?
Yep.
Okay, so that's it for this week. Watch a baseball game. Next summer, stay out of the sun, wear a hat, get your goo on you so you don't get the sunburn. Next time.